Up ahead on the Nightcast, a recent police crackdown in Cushing has many residents there crying foul. Will this retired couple's house be spared from a city bulldozer? Troubleshooter Bill Shields says it could be a close call. And how good are TPD's chances of landing some expensive new equipment? We'll have that and all the day's news next on the Nightcast.
In your mind you have no doubt of what your life is all about. Your image in the looking glass reflects to you a sharp impression, a bold new style expression. You found a mirror for your style, a clear reflection of you. The shops of Kensington, the shops of Kensington, we're a reflection of you.
Introducing delicious Breyers ice cream and...
You're watching KJRH TV 2, Tulsa. Live from KJRH in Tulsa, Sam Jones, Beth Ringel, Nightcast reporter Marty Griffin, meteorologist Gary Shore, and sports director Jerry Weber. This is News Center 2 Nightcast.
Good evening. Sam has the night off. What some are calling a potentially dangerous situation is developing in Cushing tonight. Members of the black community there say tension is growing between blacks and members of the police department. Nightcast reporter Marty Griffin was in Cushing this evening. Are you talking about a racial problem?
Well, it all depends on who you talk to, Beth. The police say there is no harassment problem. In fact, they haven't harassed anybody. But the blacks there say there is a big problem. And it's a question of straightening out who is telling what. No matter who you listen to in Cushing, though, 10 members of the black community there will be driving to Oklahoma City tomorrow to file civil rights lawsuits against the Cushing Police Department.
So sold a number of houses along Mingo Creek it had purchased in the flood buyout. The buyers were supposed to move the homes by mid-April. Well, just a few of the homes haven't been taken off what is now city property. But the Urban Renewal Authority says it has been more than patient, and if those houses aren't moved, they'll be demolished. Tonight, News Center 2 troubleshooter Bill Shield reports if one of those homes isn't moved by tomorrow morning, its owners could be left with rubble.
This is the dream home of Dean and John Gilgren, a retired couple from Virginia. This is what it looked like yesterday, cut in 3 pieces, waiting for the mover to get it off city property and to its new foundation near Tahlequah. There isn't much time.
See the bulldozer over there? It's bulldozing right next to our house, and they're coming this way. So evidently ours is going to be
to this neighborhood to have the homes along the Mingo floodplain cleared out. The demolition date on the Gilgren's home is tomorrow. We told Miller this, and earlier today he moved the homes pieces to the end of a dead-end street. But Emily Warner of Urban Renewal says that wouldn't stop the bulldozing because the pieces are still after our problem arose before calling a lawyer or contacting us. But they may get lucky if Ronnie Miller keeps his promise. Monday we'll let you know if the Gilgren's dream home is still in pieces or in ruins. Bill Shield, News Center 2, troubleshooter.
The agreement bearing the name Ronnie Ray Miller calls for the house to be at its new location on June 20th. Ronnie Miller said today he will have the Gilgren's home on its new foundation in 2 weeks from tomorrow. Miller says he plans to move the house about a mile by Monday, just far enough to make sure it isn't demolished. There's good news for the people on the Nightcast, keeping tabs on Oklahoma's taxes and pulling out the stops for new industry.
Camera, gallery, focusing on service and selection.
Downtown is busy with white-collar workers. But at the same time next year, will there be fewer or more people working in our city? That's a question that concerns the members of the State Chamber of Commerce.
Effort to improve the economy in Oklahoma. The State Chamber of Commerce plans to take a more active role in the legislature, and they will be concentrating on the following issues.
A right-to-work law for Oklahoma. Getting additional funding for economic development to attract high-tech and research-related industries, making changes in the workers' compensation laws, reforming tax credit laws is made next year. Swisher is not optimistic about the near future or the current economic state.
Very poor.
Center 2 Nightcast.
A change in Oklahoma's right-to-work laws has been targeted as the #1 problem. The Soviets today officially responded to U.S. charges of using so-called spy dust, but it is another major airline disaster that tops tonight's Nightcast Digest. This summer's third major civilian air crash has claimed 54 lives, this time in Manchester, England, where a Boeing 737 bound for Greece caught on fire while attempting to take off. Another 68 passengers and crew escaped injury, although about a dozen remain hospitalized. The Soviet embassy in Washington is dismissing as absurd the U.S. charge that the KGB has been using an invisible powder, one that may cause cancer, to track Americans in Moscow. The Soviet news agency TASS claimed the charges would only lead to worse relationships between the two countries. Florida Governor Bob Graham says Roswell Gilbert should be freed from prison while the courts consider his appeals. Gilbert had been sentenced to life imprisonment for the so-called mercy killing of his ailing wife. Now, at least 3 of the 6 members of the state's clemency board must concur with Graham's decision for Gilbert to be let out. Last month, tobacco heiress Margaret Benson and her son were killed in a car bomb explosion outside their Fort Lauderdale home. Today, another of her sons was arrested and charged with the murders. No motive has been given as to why Stephen Benson allegedly killed his mother. And finally, Digest would like to introduce you to some members of the San Diego Police Department. That's Mr. January. There's Mr. July. And over there, signing autographs, is Mr. October. That's right, 12 of San Diego's finest have teamed up for a different kind of calendar. And at $8 a piece, the beefcake is selling like hotcakes. And that's NightCast Digest for Thursday, August 22nd, 1985. Hot, humid, and rainy are just a few ways of describing how this weekend's weather could turn out. Gary's up next with a closer look.
Dunge's Brothers Buying Power makes Tulsa's best buy of the year. 1984 Mercury Topaz at less than $149 per month. Hurry, select from 30 units, but it's first to come, first to select, and first.
Missouri and gradually dissipate during the day. And watch what happens. More big storms develop, but not as impressive as the ones we had this morning. And they're gradually shifting eastward away from us. But here comes the cool front. Severe weather and tornadoes with it up in the Dakotas this evening. By tomorrow, that cool front pushing down tomorrow evening across central Kansas and through here.
The pennant races resume and a popular fighter retires. Jerry's up next with all the sports.
Ken's Pizza proudly introduces The Works. It's a robust blend.
National League East.
Yeah, it's still a little up in the air tonight, as a matter of fact. We have a full slate in the National League tonight, only 5 games in the American League. The Mets have already won in the National League East, 7-0. The Cardinals are trying to keep pace. They have taken a 2-1 lead.
And 2, you know, there's been people greater than me that have lost themselves to the desire of fighting again.
Is this a sad moment for you personally?
No, it's a wonderful moment. This is what you set out for when you start with a young fighter. When the whole thing begins and you ask a kid to get hit in the head for money, you want to end it with him having millions in his pocket.
Winston-Salem State, a Division II school, has transferred to Oral Roberts University. Workman fishing period from 6:30 till 10 in the morning, according to the forecaster, plus a good period between 7 and 10 p.m.
It was nice of that gentleman to call in with those numbers, wasn't it?
I think he worked it out on a little computer. Somebody took the call for me back there. But
very nice.
I'll buy
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Jerry. Up ahead, you'll meet 21 happy factory workers who literally won a ticket to the good life.
It's incredible. Your Cadillac dealer announces the lowest finance rate ever offered by GMA.
Well, the $41 million New York State Lottery is history, and the people you are about to see are some of the lucky winners. A while back, these 21 employees of a Mount Vernon, New York factory got together and split a ticket. Now they'll get to split $13 2/3 million. Two other New Yorkers were holding the winning tickets, and they won't have to split it with anyone. What would my gentlemen friends buy? The first thing you'd buy?
I would buy myself a new farm and raise popcorn. All the popcorn I could eat.
And you, Gary?
Probably a bigger radar.
Oh, wouldn't you know it? Okay. Well, that's our edition of the Nightcast for this Thursday. For an update on all your morning's news, be sure to join Linda Joyce for Oklahoma Today. We'll see you back here at 6. Good night.